What do Wagnerian operas and modern movie scores have in common? Leitmotif. In the next two videos, we'll be talking about Idée Fixe and leitmotif and how it can be used in everything from classical music to video games. The history of the leitmotif actually starts in France with the Idée Fixe. An Idée Fixe is a recurring theme or character trait that serves as a structural foundation of a work. The term was later used in psychology to refer to an irrational obsession that so dominates an individual's thoughts as to determine his or her actions. In music, Idée Fixe is attributable to Hector Berlioz, who used the term to name the recurring motif in his Symphony Fantastique. It was a programmatic work depicting the life of an artist, and the theme represented the obsession that the artist had with his beloved. Most symphonies of the time used one or two themes per movement, but Berlioz uses Idée Fixe in all 5 movements of the work. It was not always the main theme, but it was presented in many differing forms. The concept of Idée Fixe arose in many other later composers' work, such as the thematic transformations of Franz Liszt or the leitmotifs of Richard Wagner. Let's take a look at this Idée Fixe from Berlioz's work Symphony Fantastique. After attending the performance of Shakespeare's Hamlet on September 11, 1827, Hector Berlioz fell madly in love with one of the leads, Harriet Smithson, who played Ophelia. Berlioz sent her a number of love letters, all which went unanswered. She left Paris without meeting Berlioz. He then wrote the Symphony Fantastique as a way to express his unrequited love for Smithson. She did not attend the premiere in 1830, but did hear the work in 1832. It was then she realized Berlioz's genius and agreed to meet him. They were married on October 3, 1833. Their marriage was short-lived. After many years of increasing bitterness, they separated. Still a conservatory student when he wrote the work, Berlioz was writing in the Romantic fashion, focusing on melody, emotion, and novelty, and individualism. This Romanticism, as it was called, paralleled movements around the same time in art and literature. Symphony Fantastique was a programmatic work, and the composer provides an autobiographical program to be read before the start of the symphony. He considered it a musical drama whose words were not spoken or sung but read silently. Berlioz wanted listeners to regard the program in the same way as the spoken words of an opera, serving to introduce the musical numbers by describing the situation that evokes in the particular mood and expressive character of each. The program is a description of events after a young and passionate artist takes some opium and dreams about his beloved. The first time you hear the Idée Fixe in the work is the first movement when it's introduced by the orchestra by the first violin and the flute. Let's hear that now. The Idée Fixe is substantially changed throughout each movement, mirroring the drama depicted in the program. Even though it is changed, the listener is still able to understand the connection to the original statement of the Idée Fixe, and should be able to discern the changes in the situation by the changes in the theme. The most striking change the Idée Fixe goes through is from the 5th and final movement, where it is morphed into a witch's dance. The program for the movement, called Dream dream of a witch's Sabbath is as follows. He sees himself at the witch's Sabbath, surrounded by a fearful crowd of specters, sorcerers, and monsters of every kind, united for his burial. Unearthly sounds, groans, shrieks of laughter, distant cries, to which others seem to respond. The melody of his beloved is heard, but it's lost its character of nobility and reserve. Instead, it is now an ignoble dance tune, trivial and grotesque. It is she who comes to the Sabbath. A shout of joy greets her arrival. She joins the diabolical orgy, the funeral knell, burlesque of the Dies Irae, dance of the witches, the dance and the Dies Irae combined. The program tells the listener that the pure tune of his beloved, the Idée Fixe, has been changed into something grotesque and ignoble. Let's hear it now. The clarinet plays the Idée Fixe, made grotesque by the grace notes and trills that obscure the pure notes of the melody. The rhythm has changed as well, to a dance figure in 6/8. This change in the Idée Fixe can be seen as his beloved's depravity being revealed, as she becomes one of the whirling and dancing witches. Idée Fixe as a concept did not catch on until Wagner and the Leitmotif about 20 years later. This idea of Leitmotif took off and was used by other composers such as Franz Liszt through his thematic transformations. The next video in this series will delve into Leitmotif and how it is used. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you for joining me in this video about Idée Fixe. I had a lot of fun discussing it with you. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos about music and click the notification bell to get an alert every time I post. My bibliography for this video can be found on my website, dominiqueroyam.com. It's linked in the description box below. Follow me on social media to continue the conversation. My handle is Dominique Royam everywhere. Thanks so much and see you in the next video.